Now let's just start off simple. If everybody could just introduce themselves, just, give us a little background information, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Peace to everybody. I'm Stephen Boogie Brown, aka B3, aka Boogie Banger. I was supposed to be on the last jump off of TV and the game, and I produced a Nike freestyle commercial with the B-ball beats. And Allen Iverson spot when he won league MVP and played championship against the Lakers, an NBA shootout, and a bunch of other joints. But I'm a music producer, also produce Africa Bambaataa, some jazz joints with Clive Stevens that you may not know, but on the jazz tip, Cannibal Adderley, Nat Adderley with Nat Adderley Jr. on James Brown's new album, Bootsy Collins, a bunch of stuff. I'm stealth, basically. And why I'm really here is because my gig is always as a hip-hop representative to give everybody that's scrambling and people that aren't scrambling that are above me and alongside me share that information and knowledge so we could all move forward, because that's what it's really about. And lastly, before I pass the mic off, I'll say that the priority is that we keep on sharing information, because that's why the industry's in so much trouble now. When everything's rocking and the money's being made, it's all good. But when it's not, it comes back to the creative essence, like what do we do? What's the next thing? And that's what we do as artists and producers. We own the music. It's a gift from God. The business is separate. We got to get that business better.
What's good, fellas? How you doing today? Fellas and ladies as well. And I see there's females in the building, so big shout out. There's somebody I've never seen before. It's hot. Some might know me, some might not. Jimi Kendrix, family business, street radio is another way people know me. Just here to support dynamic producers, my man Jim Bond, family. I don't want to go through running through that record shit.
Go.
No, I ain't running through. I don't
Name
want to run
five.
through
Name five.
All right.
Name 10.
All right, Jay-Z, I name a couple of my favorites that I picked out. Jay-Z, I Did It My Way. That was my first one I did. R. Kelly, I Wonder, featuring Ja Rule and R. Kelly. Sean, Jimmy Choo. I Like the Way She Do It record, street radio record. Patti LaBelle, I like her. She's a sweetheart. She cooked for me too. I'm gonna throw that in there. That was a legendary moment for me. Appreciate it. Ask me any questions. I'm right here, man. Appreciate y'all.
Great. You see us up here, Klein. This is a great friend of mine. Jimi Kendrix is a great guy. Thank you. Amadeus, Platinum Boy Music, CEO of Platinum Boy Music. Actually the newest producer on Hitman, Bad Boy ENT. Just to name a few credits: Jim Jones, Busta, Cam, Trey Songz, Marcus Houston, Diddy, Cassie. Can't get those plugs. Danny Kane, Donnie, and the list goes on. But I'm happy to be here, to support and give much love and information to all the producers out here. Definitely been a supportive, dynamic producer for the last few years. So I'm here, like Jimmy said, to give you as much information, real sincere information on how y'all can possibly become where we're at, and you sit at these, these seats that we're sitting at, and help somebody else throughout the years to come. All right? Peace.
Hello, my name is Steve Pajot. I'd like to thank Dynamic Producer for having me. My first panel was a Dynamic Producer 4 years ago, and since then I've been doing panels for everybody. My credits are Crazy Bone on his first solo album, Thug Mentality 1999. I produced a joint called The War Zone. My first project went platinum. Snoop, Corrupt, and Lazy Bone were featured on it. I won a Grammy working with Aretha Franklin on the last album as an engineer. I also played the flute on Talib Kweli's single called Listen. What else? I signed a deal with MTV 4 years ago, a production deal, and I've been doing music for them on all their seasons. I scored all 3 seasons of Black Robin Big. I just finished working on High School Reunion. 2 days ago, I signed a deal with Bidget Design. I'm endorsing all the products. I got a ringtone deal with Funplay.com, and I've been signing like 6. I got at least 6 artists under my belt now. So it's all about being creative and handling your business. If you handle your business, the business will take care of you.
Yes, sir.
And open the doors to everybody who's trying to get in. There's no sense of keeping all the information because you're going to die with all the information. Like my man said, back in the day, Miles Davis, all the greats, they're all exchanging information while they're jamming in the jam session. No one was scared to show their licks. Everybody's scared to tell the next person where they got the drums, how they EQ the snares. You know, we got to stop that. It's all one, you know what I mean? We got to bring it back together. That's why the industry is the way it is now, because everybody's trying to do them instead of doing all of us all together.
How everybody doing? It's your boy Dan Grease, your favorite producer. You know, came out. Yes, sir. Shout out to my boy Jimmy. You know, we came out. I'd like to thank the dynamic producer panel, you know what I'm saying, for inviting me out here. You know, let me talk the piece, you know what I'm saying, talk to the people who don't know the history about, you know, the music I've done and everything that I'm a part of. And just to go through a few little classic joints. We go back to my first song I put out, We Always Love It Poppy, the tribute to Biggie Smalls. To If You Think I'm Jiggy, Get At Me Dog, Niggas That Started Something, Up to the Future, The Fair Second Pictures, Big Spender, doing all the Max B mixtapes. I have 3 movie scores under my belt. Exit Rules, Cradle to the Grave, and Never Die Alone. I have my own independent record company. A lot of us know Baker Lot Records, New York's #1 independent record company. So, you know, just come here to share my gift, you know, a little knowledge about what's popping off, you know. So any questions, let me know what's popping. And I'll give you history from what it takes, because I'm one of the persons that actually started the mixtape game, you know what I'm saying, along with the Locks and DMXs, which, you know, where we kind of started this whole new wave of street music that we could be accessible to everybody, from the internet to mixtapes and all that. So, you know, any question you got, holler at me.
Hello, this is Devo. Devo Springsteen. Where do I start with the credits? Producer John Legend, Kanye West, Britney Spears, Nas, Common, Aretha Franklin, Ryan Fest, Consequence, and it goes on. And it's a pleasure for me to be here. You know, I was actually probably 4 years ago sitting where you guys are, and all this has happened like in the past 4 years or so for me. So definitely dream big, and it's definitely in your control to be up here or beyond. So yeah, that's what's up.
What up? This is Domingo. Quick background. Been in the game 18 years. Discovered by Marley Marl in 1988. I produced Dream Shadow with Big Pun, Fat Joe, Joe Swinn's every album. Worked with everybody in the game from Shaquille O'Neal to Hurricane G to, I don't even remember all of it, but it's 360 records deep in the whole game. Presently, I just executive produced a new Razzcast CD dropping Tuesday. I executive produced Cool G Rap's last EP, working real close with him on his new album. And I did the scores for Adventures in Hollywood on MTV, the Irv Gotti Show, and a shitload of movies. Yo, I'm getting old, B. I don't know all this shit. But I mean, I'm grateful for my career, and hopefully, whatever I could drop is knowledge and help y'all get to that next step. You know what I'm saying?
I'm back. Alright, you know what? I'm making these questions up on the fly, so there's nothing, if there's any question that you're not feeling, feel free to ask. But everybody here, including you guys, are either at or have been at a point when they haven't placed any music before. Do any of you guys have any stories regarding maybe your first placement? Any interesting stories on that and how you got that? Yeah, the first big record you got. Let us know how you got it. Come on, I know there's interesting stories there.
My first big record was in 1983. Oh yeah, my bad. I'm tired. I actually only got 2 hours sleep, so I'm working on a couple of new projects right now, and I kind of floated in here. But 1983, what I always remember was like a real starting point for me, minus the grind of not being known, was being signed directly by Chris Blackwell to Island Records simultaneously with U2 after grinding independently a song called Don't Make Me Wait. by the New York City Beach Boys, which is a dance classic, has been sampled by so many different rappers, Queen Latifah, 45 King, bunch of people. And, you know, I still hear that record to this day. But what was major for me at that time was knowing that 6 years prior to, I had a vision in terms of working with the cats that I was working with, and they were kind of lost in terms of just playing and gigging. And my thing was, even though I didn't really know about the music business on that level and what moves to make, I knew that, you know, at a certain point in time while you're gigging and playing live, you're only going to go but so far and make so much money. And not everybody's going to know about you. You need a record deal. And even now that things are independent, you are the company that puts out the record, so you still need a record deal. The major thing for me when that happened was sitting with Chris Blackwell, knowing he signed Bob Marley, knowing he signed Grace Jones and U2 and all of these huge people that I grew up on and listened to, and I'm sitting with this man and he was as real as it gets. And then a month later, the record is everywhere, not only New York City, but everywhere all over the world, and I'm touring. So that was major to know that, yeah, this is real, it could really happen, and as the brother said down on the end, I learned at a very quick pace that business is crucial because people applaud you and you're out doing your thing and all the rest of that, and then when on a live tip, and I don't know how many cats play live, but it's still the same thing when you try to get a check. Let's just call it a check. So when you go and you finish playing, if that money, if your business ain't right, they can easily say, I know we were supposed to pay y'all $5 each, but you know, the numbers weren't what we expected with the people inside, and so, you know, we're going to give you $150 and we're going to try to work that out. Hope we, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, you know, what happened? We supposed to get $5, and you planned that $5 already at that time. You got bills to pay, you got all kinds of things to do. So that was my real kicker, like, yeah, this is beautiful and it's fun, but music business, get that business right.
So my background is you know, is evident. It's from church. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. Before I even did production, I used to tour a lot with like the Gap Band as a drummer for the Gap Band, for my god sister Kelly Price, churches, R&B groups, rail, you know. So musicians was something that we was always into in my family, my brothers. And I didn't really think I was going to be doing music, like as far as production. That wasn't my lane. That wasn't where I was looking at going. I was trying to go to school. And I went to China for a while, got an opportunity with some older guys that were in the business back in the days. I went to China and toured on some Broadway, putting together scores for Broadway. You know, real actors, dancers, doing all that. And we in the pit, and we playing to the sheet music, which is something that's, I think I'll advise everyone, you know, those who are not in music heavily, you know, just soak it in a little bit more, and it'll come across on your music a lot more. Those who maybe, you know, you sample, but you're not heavy with the instrumentation, you know, but that's just something I got into. First placement, I think I got back from China, and I took a job. You know, I hadn't been in this game real long, so I took a job working on a milk truck, get a page, and it was Jay-Z. I don't know how he got it, and I think what it was is passing CDs. You know, you got people that say don't pass CDs, you know, don't leave CDs. I'll advise you in the beginning, pass CDs. You know, don't, you know, take the proper steps in copywriting or whatever, and know who you pass the music to. My problem was I lost track of who I passed it to, and just so happened, as Carter was the man. So from there, that was the first record. I did it my way, and from there, you know, everything else has been history. So that's how I got placed, by accident. And that's why I'm here today, by accident.
Did you have a story, Reese?
Yeah, I got a story. My first placement is funny because my first placement that I ever got that came out like mainstream was actually like a song that changed history too. It was of course we was doing the mixtape scene back in '96, '97, and all that good stuff. Locks had just got signed to Bad Boy. We actually went out to Cali with Puff and them and Big and all of them, and actually it was the day he got killed, you know what I'm saying? So when we came back, you know, we just collectively made a tribute song. It was like, you know, we're going to do a song that, you know, we just want to show how we feel about the situation, but we was going to throw it out. But the first thing, you know, we said we're going to take the Puff first and let them hear it. You know what I'm saying? They want to take it out, and, you know, they come, you know, bring the wolves and all that, the lawyers, you know, Judy to come, motherfucker. But when we played it for them, they actually cried and actually thanked us for making the song, because I actually gave them a breath of fresh air to, to start breathing again after the tragedy. And that, you know, from Wills Like Papa inspired to make Missing You, then just became a tribute single that, you know, just actually went across the whole globe and changed, you know, changed life. So it's funny that even though I was doing all the street hardcore music, that my first actually song was a meaning song, and like a spiritual, almost like a spiritual hood song, as I call it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them. So my first place, man.
Well, my first placement was in year 1999. A friend of mine used to work at Relativity Records, and he told me that Crazy Bone, he told me that one artist was working on a project, and he asked me to do a remix. So when I did the remix for this girl from down south, I forgot her name, but when the A&R heard the track, he wasn't really feeling it for some reason. And then my man took the record and he said, Crazy Bone's gonna be in town next week. He said, why don't you bring a couple joints to the Hit Factory? And I went to the Hit Factory. There were like many producers, Puff, everybody was there playing records. So I played 3 joints for Crazy Bone, and the first joint he played, he was feeling it. Then he went to the second and third, then he kept going back to the first one, and he was like, you know, doing this in the studio. And my man Steve Lobel was there also. He's Bone Thugs and Harmony's manager, and he was like, you did good. I was like, cool. So the following day I went back to work. I was working at a gym in South Orange, and that weekend I wasn't feeling too happy and everything. And on Sunday, the slowest day, my man comes in, he said, I see him talking on the phone. He was like, all right, cool, look, Steve, we gotta go to LA tomorrow. I was like, listen, I ain't no mood to be playing, you know, stop playing. But he was like, yo, for real, this was Steve Lobel. He said, Cray loves the record. Tomorrow we going to LA. I was like, huh? I still couldn't believe it. So I went back home, you know, fixing everything up, and I called my mom. I was like, I got a placement. And then she was like, so how was the day? Like, she thought I was bullshitting too. I was like, no, I'm going to LA. So the next day, I went to Relativity. I'm still not believing that I'm going to LA. Next thing you know, I'm in a limo going to the airport. I'm like, this must be April Fool's Day, but we're in February, you know what I mean? So next thing you know, I'm on the plane. Got out the plane, went straight to the studio, tracked the record, and Crazy Bone laid his verse, his hook. Then I laid the flute. Actually, I laid the flute part, and then Crazy Bone heard the flute part, and then he came after and he laid his hook. So he was done with his hook and his first verse, and then I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Only Snoop can get on this record. You know, I was just talking to myself. Next thing you know, somebody said, you know, Snoop is working with Mariah down the block. Why don't you, this is the studio, why don't you all go there? So me and Steve Lobel went to see Snoop, and when we got to the studio, Snoop was playing Nintendo. Yo, first time in my life, it's like, I was watching Snoop playing Nintendo. I was like, wow. I was starstruck, because, you know, Snoop, you know, Death Row, and he's playing Nintendo for like 15 minutes. When he stopped playing, he got up and then he was like, what's up? Next thing you know, a year later, album went platinum. That was my first joint.
Quick one about my first major placement that actually didn't get released because somebody had leaked out the album back in '93. I was working at the New York Board of Education, and Mayor Giuliani came in office, and I don't know if y'all remember this when he was laying everybody off. I was actually the first one to get laid off from the Board of Ed, and next day I got a phone call from Francesca Spiro, who was managing me through Rush Management, and she was like, yo, Rakim wants you in the studio tomorrow. He picked 3 joints from you and wants to record with you. So like my man there, I was like, get the fuck out of here, Rakim, because I mean that's like the God, you know. So it was the illest thing to be sitting there. I actually didn't see Rakim. I spoke to him on the phone, didn't see him for 3 sessions because he's a heavy basketball fanatic. So NCAA or whatever championship, whatever the basketball, I don't follow basketball. and the championship was going on, and Rob was like, yo, I'll be there tomorrow. Finally showed up, and just to sit there and watch him write rhymes in graffiti, like he says, and he looked at the pad, got in the booth, spit the shit in one time, was like, yo, I'm out. And I was like, that's it? He's like, yo, I'm done. And then we sat down, chopped it up. I became real good friends with him, been to his crib where he lives, and to this day I stay in touch with him. And if you go online, you can definitely find Original Style by Rakim that's produced by me. And that was one of the illest first placements I had. Unfortunately, it never came out. But to work with Rakim as your first major artist was kind of crazy.
Long story short, I ended up signing John to Kanye's company, took him to Sony, got him a deal at Sony, but he had an office job, and I'd be at the crib doing stuff for Kanye, or I'm working on beats. And whenever he gets home to the crib, you hear a joint, we write a song together. I have an idea for a hook, I get John to sing it. So by the time he gets his deal and we get to the time where we're putting together the album, I've already done so many songs with my roommate that it comes out on this joint, and that's my first 3 records actually.
Alright, let me just ask the crowd, how many of you guys have management? Alright, perfect. One, okay. Alright, I was hoping not. I don't know if you guys know, I know some of you do. I'm a producer myself, and very early in the game, a certain manager, he told me that you don't need management to get on. And since then, I've done everything on my own. I've gotten a few placements, I got a couple some checks. Do you guys agree with that?
I managed myself my whole career, 10 years, 30 million records sold.
I started off like managing myself. I would say I managed myself probably about 5 years, as far as when it came to the producing thing. But I felt that it was taken away from the creativity side of me being a producer. When you want to work on new music and new material, you do that, and then you got to, in the back of your head, you're like, okay, I got to call Def Jam, they owe me a check. I got to call or email whoever who said they sent out the check, and I never got the joint. So it just became too much to juggle for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's situation is different. So I got management at the time, which I can honestly say helped me go to the next level. Not so much placement-wise, because I've always been my own hustler, but on a business level, as far as how to invoice, as far as how you follow up with people, the do's and the don'ts of following up with people, because sometimes you could be too much to an A&R, or too much to an artist, or too much to a manager, and turn them off, and then you just finish yourself. And because a lot in this game, Dame and a lot of these guys are legends in the game, man, there's a lot of pettiness in the game, a lot of nonsense. You know what I'm saying, that we go through on a regular basis. That's real petty, but it is what it is. And you gotta learn how to deal with it and work with it and work around it. So management is definitely important. I just made a real big management change. I was under the management that I was with for about 4 or 5 years, and I was realizing that all of the placements that I was getting was, was being brought about by myself. And the business was taken care of, but I'm at a point in my career now where I can do my own paperwork, I can go through my own contracts, I can do all of that on my own, I can close my own deals, period. So it's just like, why allow a cat to sit there and eat off of you 20% off of what you're doing? Like, what, you can write your own invoice, you know what I'm saying? You can type up your own invoice and send it out, because that's basically what they were doing, sending my invoices for me and getting 20%. So I had to make a change, and I made a change. And change is different. Change is different, and sometimes you need to make change in order for you to get to the next level. So one of the producers down at the end mentioned Francesca Sparrow, who's been in the game for a long time, man. So right now she manages all the Bad Boy producers, Puff, Mario Wine, 7, myself. So that's my new manager right now, and I must say it's definitely a good look in regards to business, placement. So everybody is different. It depends on your situation. Everybody's different. So some can get to where they need to be with management, some cannot. So it's a decision that you have to make on your own.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I agree with him, man. Yeah, I can tell him offhand, Francesca managed me for 12 years, and she's like one of the best people in the industry to manage. She don't take no shit from no labels, and she got mad juice. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's gonna be successful, but to add on to that, yeah, you do and you don't need a manager. If you learn how to do your own invoices, your own budgets, your own all of that, you don't need one. And if you do get a manager, make sure it's not your cousin. Make sure it's not your fucking friend down the block who you drink with, hang with, smoke with, because you need somebody in the industry that knows how to fight off the snakes. You know what I'm saying? Because this game is not really what a lot of people think it is. It's not, oh, them motherfuckers is paid, and nah, I ain't like that. We gotta chase shit that you don't understand. Like, this is a hustle, and if you ain't got it in you, then you definitely need a manager that got it in them to do it for you. Because you'll be ready to kill somebody over a check because they're bullshitting, but you still gotta maintain your musical respect in the game where people are gonna wanna keep messing with you. So you can burn a bridge. And I had an incident, I'm not gonna bring up the label or nothing, but I had an incident where a very well-known artist tried not to pay me. And I wasn't trying to hear that. So yeah, I might have burnt that bridge, but at the same time, I knew that producer slash artist before they was in the game, and if I'd had a manager, which I was managed by shady management at the time, if they did their job, the bridge wouldn't have got burned. So you definitely gotta get somebody that's got your back no matter what. Like, you stay out the way and let them fight it out. So they might say, I ain't fucking with his manager, but at least they ain't saying they ain't fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? They might hate the shit out of your manager, but you got to check.
Yeah. As far as management, at the end of the day, do you need management? Yes, it's important. At what level? It depends on you. I mean, before you even step to a manager, product should be speaking for itself. I mean, you shouldn't really have to say much except push play and where's the invoice going to be sent or whatever. But before you even get to that level, I've dealt with managers that they had the love, they love the music, but you were grinding a little harder than them, and the work was coming coming through you. Like I almost said, a lot of managers have the drive to be a manager, but they can't get in no more doors than you can. So at the end of the day, learn how to be a manager of yourself. Learn how to manage your own self. You pay your bills at home, you take care of your house. It's no different. It's just knowing how to speak. And like you said, I've been in situations where bridges have gotten shaky, and a lot of it was because management stepped in and did some stuff that they shouldn't have did, and I had to kind of mend that bridge again. And I'm cool with that. At this level, I do management because I don't want to deal with invoices and chasing people for my checks. I just want to be in the studio. And a lot of times I don't like to be bothered. No offense. Just me. I'm just a weird dude when it comes to working. I like to get away. I don't like no distractions. I just had a son, so I'm back in it really. And it's just a different monster. And as of recently, which is crazy, I just did something I've never done. I took a chance on someone that I think that, aside from having the name, that I think that they have my best interest in mind. And they've shown it more than anything I've seen those that were established. And he's in the back, my boy Matt Manil. And it's something good. It's good. I tell you, this kid, he's from LA, but you will never know the kid was from LA. You know what I mean? Like, he's in New York, whether he's in there physically or not. And that's what I need. I don't want someone, any of y'all producers, don't look for a manager that just got a name. You look for someone that's going to bust ass. They're going to bust ass. Where you know good and well, look, if we don't get that, if you didn't get it placed, you got it there. And at the end of the day, the music should be the one that should sell itself. So at the end of the day, don't try to look for the most known manager. I don't think that they join managers like Francesca just because of her name, but because of her reputation for what she's done for those under her. And you don't need a manager that has 90 different producers under you. So, it all depends on you, just like a lawyer. Before you get a manager, look for an attorney. Make sure you got a good attorney, more than anything. Because he'll make sure at the end of the day, the fine line is going to be, he's going to cover all that. No, you can't do this and you can't do that. And just know what you want to do for yourself. So your manager has an idea of what you want. You can't tell him, he don't know that you want endorsements. Like this past week, I mentioned a couple endorsements, companies that, that I like, and the following couple of days, I'm getting calls from people, Nico, and we would love it. I would have never known if I didn't have that mind, and that's what I mean. Someone that know how to take something and turn it into bigger. And just for any up and coming producer, at the end of the day, at the fine line, product speaks. That speaks.
I'm gonna keep it real short for this reason. Everything that was just said is an add-on for real, and right down to me. I mean, now that confirmed how I'm thinking and doing certain things on levels myself, for myself. Everything I just heard down this line. So what I say to y'all is my mantra is music, business. You ain't just doing business and you ain't just playing music. You can't separate them in terms of what it is. But what you have to separate is music on the creative tip. When you're in the studio, when something hits you wherever and you popping up with an idea, that got nothing to do with business yet. You're working with your gift and you want to make sure that rolls through and is as close to what you want, if not exactly as what you want. And then when it's done and you have it, it's a product, like this bottle of water, like the shirts y'all wear and hats, whatever, it's a product. Then you separate that creative flow and you get on that business. Management, as long as they're doing the right thing, it's a beautiful thing to have because it takes a weight off you. I like agents because what I want to do is I don't want to just G up 20% and when you sick and you can't really rock and I'm ready to rock all the time even if I am sick, I gotta wait. But agents, you can have as many of them as you want. It's not exclusive. And they hustling steady like ants, cousin. Hustling. And when they holler at you and say, yo, Boog, I got this iPod situation, man, blah, blah, blah. I need like 4 joints that's on some like club type thing, That's on you, because you got your little catalog, you put it together, MP3, it send a solid, whatever it is. And that could be happening all day with agents. And you could say, I'm gonna give you 10% before they even start hustling. It don't have to be 20%, or because their status of all these high-powered cats they have, that is 25 or almost half. Because they're going to guarantee you, I could guarantee you $1 million a year. I mean, how much would you give up to get that? So music business is like my mantra, my reference point to whatever happens to me on a business level. Do I need a manager to really hold this down for this period of time in this area? Can I rock it with an agent? And no matter what, at the end of the day, attorney, and then you still got to do business. Why? They human. And if you don't read that contract and get it in layman terms as well, a couple of years later you could be saying, you know what? I knew that already. And homeboy missed it. And he went to school. It's just an error. But who takes the punishment? You do.
The way I got in the game, I used to be signed to a producer. His name is Ron Lawrence. I'm in Rock. He did all the hits for Puff. Been around the world, Phenomenon, Hypnotized. I was very fortunate because Ron was about his business. And he was serious about, he knew that it was a business, so he would school me a lot. And I would sit back and learn and watch. And the best way to learn of somebody is not to ask him questions. Yo, how you do this, how you do that. You gotta fall back and watch how he moves. Because a lot of times people don't have time to explain to you how to move. You gotta watch them. Yeah. So by being around him, I learned so much. How to put a record together. You could be a musician but don't know how to put a record together. When it comes to your drums, how to dress a sample. He was famous for that. All the samples that came from Ron Lawrence. He taught me how to dress a sample. Keep your words. If you say you're going to be at a certain spot at 2 o'clock, make sure you be at 2 o'clock. If you can't make it, say I'm going to be late, so can you make it at 2:30? Always got to be professional. And by watching him, he used to do all his invoices. So I watched that. Everything he did, I was eyeing him. And we built a good relationship. And after I got off, after the contract ended, I started managing my own self. And I've been fortunate. It's like I got endorsement deals. My studio's built on endorsement deals. I got like 15 endorsement deals. Norman, I get free microphones, free speakers. I'm endorsed by Yamaha, Digital Design. It's like you would think that God was managing me. But yeah, he is. I'm telling you. But at the end of the day, you gotta be serious. You gotta read books also. I read All You Need to Know About the Music Business like 6 times. I read so many contracts. I read every chapter. And if there were certain words I didn't understand, I'll take the dictionary to understand what this word meant. Because a lot of little words that you might think that don't mean anything, those are the words that can make you or break you. So at the same time you're taking care of your business, you got to make sure that your music's on point also. Because if you don't have the product, there's no business. You could be, if you want to be the best producer or the best whatever, they want to hear what you got. If they can't sell what you got, you will never make it.
Yeah, now I am. Alright, sorry about that. One thing I always hear producers talk about, up and coming producers, and it's sad because a lot of these guys accept it as as the circle of life within the music industry. People always say that before you get on, you're gonna get jerked. Now, if that's the case, all of you guys must have been jerked at one point.
I got jerked. When I came out here, I didn't know anybody in the music business, all right? So I was working at Blockbuster in the Bronx. And a dude came over, he was like, yo, I know some people in the music business. So there's their number. I was like, yo, whatever, everybody knows somebody in the music business. So I called them up, they're cats from Harlem. I went to their studio. At the time, they were driving a nice Lexus. They had the Avid Rex jacket. That was like 10 years ago. And I was like, wow, they're doing it. Telling me, yo, let's do a remix. I'm like, all right, cool, tomorrow. I'm gonna skip. No, that wasn't it. So, to make a long story short, 6 months down the line, they went to Sony Studios and they were working with this artist on Relativity. And that was the night Biggie died, and that's the same night Ron walked in the studio. So we tracked the record. 2 months later, I see them buying jewelry, buying all types of shit. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? They're all coming broke, and today they're living large. A week later, a friend of mine said, yo, Steve, you remember that joint you did with Relativity? I was like, yeah. Well, that's your money to spend. 2 months later, a week later, I approached them with the situation. Big fight happened. They stole my sampler, all my discs, my EPS 16 Plus, my first sampler. I lost everything. And lucky for me, when I got fired from Blockbuster, I started collecting unemployment check. So I started buying new equipment, and that's how I started all over.
Yo, that's the realest story I've ever heard. Like, ever. That's why he ain't let Jim finish the question. He's like, I got you. Lord, I got you. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, wow. I don't even want to tell my story. But you know what? Like on a serious note though, like everything happens for a reason though. So you getting jerked like that, all your equipment, all that broken and all fighting and all that, right? Years later, it's crying. Pastor Jimmy. But how long was that? How long ago was that?
97.
97. So we in 2008. Now you got all your endorsement deals, all free equipment.
You know what's so crazy? Till this day, I keep seeing dude. Every time I go to parties, he's like, yo, what's up, Steve? I'm like, yo, what's up? And I keep moving. I don't get bringing back. What's my EPS?
You could take one of the equipment, like whatever you endorse by, like one of your speakers, carry it in your car with you. Next time you see me, smash it over your head and be like, yo, I got this for free, son. I had to make it fun, man. I had to make it fun, but nah, seriously, that's crazy. But like I'm sure we all got stories of how we got jerked. Let me think, because it happened a few times. So, like, all right,
Edit out.
let me mean, it's still not as bad as yours, right? This ain't fighting. But, yeah, it's happened a few times, and it's so common, I'm sure. You do a track, right? You did tracks, you hand out your CDs, artists, A&Rs, managers, right? You listening on the radio, late night, you know, late 10 o'clock. I know he be in tune, 11 o'clock, when you got like the K-Slays, we were recording, right? Like the K-Slays, and who else be on late night like that?
Green
Lantern. All of them, Clue and Green Lantern, right? So you listening to all the new stuff. Now the reason why I listen to it is because I just want to hear what the streets is doing. I want to hear what's out there, what type of tracks cats is picking. So that's why I listen. So I'm listening, you know what I'm saying? And the joint comes on. Yo, this is still such and such. This is crazy. Or it starts out, this is crazy. So I'm like, so it's crazy. Turned it up, right? I'm like, it's crazy. Start slowing down, like. It's my joint, though. Like, imagine hearing like that happen to like 15 of your joints. But I'm talking about bangers. Joints where you like, yo, these are one of the hottest joints I ever did on the radio. Then the mixtapes start dropping out. You hearing the mixtapes, and now other DJs playing it. They're like, yo, you got that new what's the name record? Yeah, I got that, son. And that's your record? You standing right in front of them? Never got paid. Never even thought about being paid. Album, like forget an album. We're just gonna put it out there and see how the streets appreciate it. So now I got 10 joints that I can't sell them because at the end of the day I don't disrespect whatever artist I sell it to, because imagine if they find the mixtape or somebody be like, yo, that was on what's the name joint? I heard K-Say play that. You're done. Done. Then you end up in this situation where you're fighting all over again, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, so I'm sure that's happened to like all of us that's up here. That's the worst thing to do. Your hard work, your labor, for cats to just take it and throw their vocals. You know what I started saying to cats? Imagine if I started stealing niggas' verses. Just walk around, not even like stuff that came out, just walk around, Gang of Us beat Jimmy Dame, Steve just run around, all black on IG unit, running in the studio sessions, yo, let me get that song you just did, B. Let me get that acapella right there. Snatching that dude songs, just putting out mad songs with new beats. Like, how would you feel as an artist? Like, would you appreciate that? We laughing now, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't. I'm making money off of stealing your material, something that you created, that you took time in the studio all night long to make for free, and just eating off of that and then just whatever. You know what I mean? So it's rough out here, man, and I can go on for days. I know you got a story, I know Dan got a story. We still ain't up in a fight though, like Steve.
Yeah, I got a story on. I ain't gonna lie, I never went through a situation with having a beat stolen or any of them situations. I kind of feel like a different type of person in this industry. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I'm the only guy who get my money from Koch. I'm like one of the only guys who get checks from Koch because, him ain't playing that. But I've been in a situation that, say songs that I've done, I came back, they've been done over. Yeah, but some of our local favorite producers, you know what I'm saying? So they've been done over, you know what I'm saying, different situations. So like I kind of went through my different type of situation. It never was a beat, because people do, like I'm gonna tell the story. Actually, when I first done a song in '97, I still had braids, was fresh off the corner of Lennox Ave. Puff would call me down to the studio when he wanted Stevie J to add a string in it. Like he would never just do what he wanted to do. He would call, say, yo, Grease, would you come down while I do this? I'm like, all right, cool, I'll come down. And I'm like, do your thing, 'cause I'm learning from you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Puff and Leo is a couple of my mentors, so I would learn from them. They would tell me from the business of production what it is. But back in my old camp, Rough Riders, you know what I'm saying? There probably were songs that had been done that, they've been changed with tracks in different situations and shit. So I kind of had half of that. Never had to be stolen. And if I did, I went and dug in somebody's pocket and took it out. So, it's been a different little story. But it's still a rape. For real.
You know what? I even come on a whole other side. I don't know, and I know, Grease, you've been involved with the in-house world. The world of in-house is a whole nother monster, because when you lock into this contract you know, you pretty much locking in some pub, locking in whatever you do, people are gonna have access to it. You know, people want control, you know, and I mean, there's work that when you put in the in-house, you go in, you bust ass. I mean, you go in, you bust ass, you try to get as much work as you can, especially dealing with, you know, like coming in Murder Inc. When I was over in-house over at Murder Inc. And I came in to a situation that already had established producers and people. So my mindset was to come in, bust my ass, and, you know, let that product speak. And within the situation, you got times where, you know, Puff, you hear stuff, go up to the second floor level, and John, you know, you don't hear nothing, you don't know nothing, but you play your game, you know, you play your role. You know, I'm a fresh cat off the street, and I got an opportunity to get in-house with someone, not just someone, but you get on. Like, you're getting on the Shawnee's project, you're getting on, you know, a Rule project, you're getting on the movie soundtrack, whatever they touch, you're going to be, you know, we as producers are going to be those vehicles, because, you know, the Puffies, they don't, you know, I don't want to say they produce, but they produce in their level, but they don't produce like how we produce. The early Dotties don't produce. They tell you what they like, and you just translate what they're telling onto that, you know, that music. But I played my role. I've taken losses, money, publishing, you know, I've given people just to satisfy people. But when I got out of the situation, and I was in my own situation, then I could go back into that situation and handle and renegotiate my situation now. And I took it as a learning lesson, because one day, you know, you're working on a milk truck, and the next day, you know, next year you're making, what, 400,000. You know, and this is just money just in working and upfront money off the tracks and placement. This ain't publishing. That's why I say product just got to continue to keep coming. Don't worry about the business, but worry about the business. You know what I mean? Don't make that your main worry when you're going in the lab. And in-house is a whole nother world. Like, you know, luckily, like Dane Grease, especially around time when Dane was killing everybody. I never told you, but you was one of my favorite producers, brother. And I appreciate that, man, because you set a certain level for a lot of and I love that. I love that. That's all we gotta get back. But we gotta do business, man. And that's what I tell these labels, man. Look, we can cook up all day out there, but do business right. You know what I mean? Look, you want a piece? Cool. Let's talk. Let's let the lawyers talk. But you're not gonna rate me this time. You know what I mean? Them days is over. And nowadays, I don't even have to argue with anyone and talk about what I've done. I let the manager haul ass and yell and curse, and I'll play good cop, bad cop. And that's strategy. That's not just, you know, me, that's strategy. That's how we have to think. You know, you don't want to burn your bridges, but you want to let them know you're serious about your business. You know what I mean? And they got to respect that. And then in-house, you know, that's a whole other way, you know, how they got their beats taken. It's kind of the same way in our level, but the more you cook up, the more sometimes they get lost. Certain things you don't know where they're at until years later when you don't move on. Then you hear it. But then you got to come back to it.
Wait a minute, you mean? Because he mentioned something about 400,000 and looked at me like I got 400,000.
You know what?
You got 400,000?
400,000. Because you think about it. When you do it in-house, you doing the bulk of people's project. Like that RULE project, I did like 8 on that. Then no, I did 12 on that.
Wait, but to answer the question, Jimmy Kimmons, 400,000. Did you make 400,000?
That's just saying in like upfront money.
You hear this guy, right?
No.
I'm putting the pressure on.
Come on, brother.
Jimmy. But then you look at me like if I made 400,000, they ain't make me feel bad.
What I'm saying is I was eating peanut butter and jelly, which I still do.
I bet you.
And I'm still eating Chinese food. And then the next day, when your mom and them was struggling, the next year you look back and you say, man, I was working last year. This year I'm able to help my mom and my family. You know what I mean? Right. So it's it's something you take. You can sign that contract or you can talk it out. And a lot of people told me, yo, don't mess with Murder. You know, don't sign, don't go over there. And I was getting it back and forth. But at the end of the day, you gotta walk that door. You know what I mean? I gotta walk this door. And I walked it. I walked it clear. Relationship is good. And like I said, it was a learning experience, and I got a chance to learn, like Dave said. I got a chance to sit there and you know, Irvin telling me, yo, do this, telling Seven, yo, do this, do that. And it was something I never, ever would have ever expected. And that's why I say, no, don't shit on in-house, but be smart about it. Don't let them get everything. And then make sure you know what you're supposed to get. So, you know, it's a lesson. It's a lesson in all aspects of this business, man.
Also, you need money. When they don't send the checks are late, we call Jimmy. Guys, you got this?
So dig this. The question is, do you have to get jerked before you get on? The answer is no. Have people gotten jerked? Yes, me included. Does anybody like getting jerked? No. So it comes back to what we've been saying on so many different levels, on that business level. It always comes back. That's why I say that mantra, music, business. It always comes back. Because you'll get jerked if your goal is to accept and put power behind that saying that all of us has heard, and the cats before us that are up here have heard. You know, yeah, I'm trying to tell you, gotta get licked and jerked, and you know, then you're gonna pop off and it ain't gonna mean nothing. But it will always mean something. So what y'all got now, which I wish I had when I was getting on, is brothers that are giving you information, real deal, Holyfield, and now it's on you. When somebody comes in your area and gives some of that language that they're giving to you now, for you to say, okay, you know, you always got a choice. We all always got a choice. So you gonna take the jerk, or you gonna give that information to that person so they go, oh, you know a little something, and his beats is tight. I'm still trying to finagle it, but not jerk 101. He or she is better than that, and that's what we want. So y'all and everybody else, including us, yeah, we got some licks, but don't put power behind the statement, because that's how it keeps flowing. You take the power away from it by knowing what it is, changing how it happens, and then the next thing you know is it goes down to licks. And we take that, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good a shape you in. You take licks. My last thing is I'll say, when I did the Nike joint, I mean, that was huge for me, because everybody in every area of music, or somehow or another, basketball, which has been the game, all of a sudden everything popped off, and it was about these basketball sounds, and everybody and their mothers getting in the mix. Well, I almost couldn't tell y'all that I did the Nike commercial, that I did the beats, because, to go back to what we were saying before, if I had double-checked my lawyer on the 5th edition of the contract that I would have signed, it would have said that I'm forfeiting my production credit and my composer credit. Now, I'm not saying that anybody tried to jerk me. I'm not saying that. It could have been a typo. There could have been an error on somebody in the company that was working and scrambling so hard to get things done that they didn't use the correct final sheet. So whose job is it? My lawyer is supposed to holler and say, Stephen, we gotta revise this and see blah, blah, blah. But instead I heard, yeah, that's it, son, we got the check here, and the check is bad, and I'm not all about the paper like that. I'm about the principle, cousin. Yeah. And so I double check it, and on top of that, wifey double check it, because I work real hard, and I'm tripping. It's not the only thing, there's a lot of things happening. So wifey catch it. That's dope. Because I'm looking on some, you know what, proofreading when we was in school on some young shit, right? If you was on point, you get it proofread. Because you don't want to be fucking up on the spelling and the grammar, and you know you ain't got it tight, but you don't want to look like a jackass. So that's where proofreading comes from. So I said, sweetie, do me a favor, because I'm not 100 right now. Do me a favor and go over that. If it's right, fax it off. Boom, wrong. So it's always business, yo. Always. No matter what. I don't care how nice you are with what you do. Always check what the end game's gonna be. Because at the end of the day, if the end game ain't winning for you and don't serve you, you fucked up.
You know what's crazy? Even though I went through a lot of shit, but just listening to them talk, I'm still learning. And as long as you're alive, you'll always be learning. Never think you know everything, because somebody else will know more than you. Doesn't mean you're not smart, but they got more experience. And you gotta be willing to take a back seat. And when somebody tells you how to do something, doesn't mean they're trying to sun you. They want to see something positive for you. So before you say, I already know that, I already know that. My mom always told me, the ones who keep saying they already know, those are the ones that don't know anything.
Can anybody tell me what? Anybody tell me, everybody all at once, whatever, whoever knows, what doctors and lawyers call their business? Dig? We are always practicing. No matter how nice you are, no matter how much paper you got, no matter how many awards you win, no matter what, you practicing. Because only God is perfect. We ain't never gonna be perfect. We might be sick with it, and people might say, yo, you did that joint, that's great. Oh, yo, I love that joint you did that. Yeah, but you're never perfect. And as soon as you slip, thinking all this info you're getting from folks that you that cat, that's when you really catch it. So practice. You nice, you got the skills, but you practice.
Speaking about practice, when you do a 9 to 5, right? Do you bring all your friends to your job? Do you smoke? Do you drink? You don't. When you go to the studio, that's a 9 to 5. You shouldn't be having 10 million people in the studio while you're working, because that's a job.
And we touched on the subject of money before. I know a lot of, we actually, 2 days ago on Wednesday, we had a management panel. And one of the questions I think someone in the crowd asked was, what's the base price when you're selling tracks to a major label? But these guys told us, I think it was kind of high. I mean, I don't know, I might be wrong. But let us know. But like, when you got your first major placement, like how much bread did you get? I mean, if you want to discuss it, it's cool.
I'm fine. You know, it's not 400,000.
And Devo and Domingo, you want to chime in?
First of all, before I say anything, I just want to say hi to Felicia.
Give her a hand.
Yes, Felicia Booker, man. I met her 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something. And she built this whole empire, man, and much respect to her for having a part of it. So, whenever you need me, I'm here. Like I said, we don't get to speak. This is a moment, excuse me. We don't get to speak as much, you know, but I'm still your brother, okay? Alright. Gangster, B. What were you saying? Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I argued throughout the first 6 years of my career, I would say, because I sold my first beat to an artist on MCA by the name of Lucci Rayo, and we sold the beat for $7,500, right? So I was like 17 B, I was balling, like balling B. I came home. Got that check cash, went straight to Bay Plaza. Anybody from the Bronx? It went crazy. Bought my mom's like little outfit on it. Alright, but so being that was the first track sold at that price, like I ain't want nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like this is my first beat, no track record, no placements, nothing. First beat, 7,500. So at that point, I was going around like, yo, I can't get no less than 7,500. Period. You know, and then you it's always I would say it's always a new story. Every day is a new story. So now what? No, you ain't got no placements. I got no placements and I sold my track for 7,500. Now what? Well, now you know what? Like labels ain't really paying. You know, new cats like that. Maybe it was a separate situation. Alright, cool. I ain't never met dude before in my life. I know, but you know what I mean? Like the book, you know, it normally said cats get like 5,000. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like 5,000. So like I said, it's always a new story. So now, the times that we're in now, if you can get anything, like Francesca was a man, and she was saying that, you know, no, I wouldn't say that, because I don't want to put people, well, yeah, this is what it is, we're in a recession. She was saying a lot of her bigger clients are like saying, hey, you can have a joint for 10,000, you can have a joint for 15, you can have a joint for 7,500. When 3 years ago, these dudes were getting like 50 and 60 and 70 per track. Now you got me and a dude of that level getting the same amount for the track, which is insane. But I knew what was gonna happen to me. Like, how long is a one cat for one beat gonna get 150,000? When you got a room with all of these dudes right here that got flames hotter than that, that'll take 5. That'll take 7,500. That'll take 10. So they started thinking, that'll take nothing.
Just to get on. Right. Because
You know what I'm saying? So whatever you can get, like that's real talk freight for me. If you can get 500 for a beat, that's great. That can pay your BlackBerry bill. That can You know, you can take your shorty out, movies are going up, you know what I'm saying? Gas. You know, like, I'm only doing this for Jim and Felicia. Like, you want, these guys haven't seen me, and I don't know when, because I live upstate. I don't come to the city like that no more. Seriously. Because it's too much money. Gas and toll, like, so if you wanted to buy a beat, the camera guy right there, I don't know Hollywood, yo man, I done did 50, I done did, yo dog, you got 1,500? Alright, cool. And I'm gonna give him a new joint. I'm gonna give him a 2008 beat for 1,500. Because that's the type of game we're living in right now. So do whatever you need to do, sacrifice whatever you need to sacrifice, and in the long run, if you do right with your money, it's all good.
You know what I would say? I would say that to everybody up and coming producer and guys get into this business, get into this game, you know, the most thing is like everybody's saying, you know, handle your business, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you know what it is, and the most important thing that they were saying is that, like, the game is different now, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, like, my intern came to the studio, he got on the internet and downloaded the fucking Fruity Loops, and I made hits off that bitch up the demo. So I'm like, wow, this shit is crazy. So it's like the most thing that everybody can do right now is really maintain to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? The most thing about music, like I said, everybody got the same keyboard, same this, same shit, that shit. The most thing you gotta do is really put your personality on the music. But once you put your personality on the music, you become to be that person that you are a commodity along with the music. You know what I'm saying? So like a couple people got their niche, you know what I'm saying? I say like Pharrell, he got his thing. You know what I'm saying? Swiss, he got his thing. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, I got my thing. You know what I'm saying? Certain guys that got their thing to it now, you know, and I would say anybody would maintain to get that on there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing that lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? That's why even guys like me, I can say, I came out 97 and changed the game. We took it from the Jiggy era. The crazy shit, I made the song If You Think I'm Jiggy. Killed that shit and did Get At Me Dog and took it back to the street. So the same thing is you can take this music and change it the way you is and get it to the way, but you gotta maintain the project element. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of people don't know that the reason why I had If You Think I'm Jiggy, Get At Me Dog knocking like that, I used to stage snare drum from the Benjamins on both of them. So it's the same thing. It's the same knock that you pump into the club already and put that bitch on there. So that same sound and element that I do actually made a maintain. So I like even within the business, watching it, seeing how the music fluctuate to the south and fluctuate all across the globe, I really had to sit back and think about this shit and be like, hold on. I slowed up and some shit happened. Now it ain't just me, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us slowed up as being Northeast region producers or whatever it's called, you know what I'm saying, to start, you know, different shit, because we all do the same shit, you know what I'm saying, but we had to really get back on our element, you know what I'm saying, and give the only ones who was giving this Northeast region, you know, everybody's gonna get into their thing, make sure you got your business right, and make sure you maintain, and the whole thing, fuck it, I'm gonna go in. You know what I'm saying? You got different type of producers. You got guys that can emulate everything that's being done. Now, you're going to get a place to get it to, but you are the same fucking beat guy as the same beat guy. Now, I don't know. I don't knock none of that because get in when you feeling that. To me, I'm going to keep it real. I don't know who do all them South beats. To me, it's the same guy. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep it real. It's the same person because everybody's doing the same pattern, the same thing. Now, you got some guys that tend to, you see, you got the runners that say, oh, we're going to do that shit, we're going to do a little that. You know what I'm saying? So you need a little niche that, you know, keep a different sound, a different thing going. And when you think about the music game, you think about everybody always saying, why is this like that? Why is this like that? It's you, motherfucker. Like, believe it or not, I'm going to say myself, I have about 15,000 tracks, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, to right now, and everywhere from hardcore street rap to book bag rap, to disco, to techno. Like I said, I done movie scores, so actually I went to classical, to house, to techno, to this realm. Of course my bass is hardcore street shit, to R&B, to pop and all that. So it's like, you know, if you're gonna be a musician, you're more than just a producer, you know what I'm saying? You wanna have a catalog. Because I believe in, I don't really like nothing passing without being involved. You feel me? So it's like, if it's a TV show or anything, you gotta have your catalog stacked up, because you don't never know You know, like you said, like we be sitting here and shit, and that girl from over there said, yo, I do this. You got something for that? You better have something for that. So you gotta have that catalog just to be ready. You know, it's like you said, be on point too, you know what I'm saying? Somebody say, need something? Yeah, that's what it is.
Back to what he said with the catalog. Catalog is very important because when there's times, when there's down times where you're not able to work, your catalog will hold you over. You know what I mean? It'll hold you over in times where you ain't doing nothing. Now you have a body of work that you can do whatever you want. What's old to you is new to someone else. They don't know the difference. You know what I mean? It's just giving them what they need in them different areas. And like I said, being on point. So that's right.
One thing I want to add to that is, you know, make sure, don't try to keep up, and there's no disrespect to Swiss because I respect him as a producer, but like, don't worry about the number. Don't worry about quantity. And this is a cliche, but worry about quality. You know, don't be trying to sit there in the next, 5 years try to make 6,000 beats. Like, and then at the end of the day, when you sit up here, you still own all 6,000 of those beats. Like, that'd be great. Like, so if you can have 300, and them 300 beats be the craziest joints you made, you know what I'm saying, and you moving those out, actually, you should want to say you don't have none. I've made, 10,000 joints, or I made 5,000 joints, but like I only have, 3,000 left. I only have 4,000 left because they so fire that they out. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that what you're producing is quality, is up to par, sound-wise, drum-wise, mix-wise, because you can have a crazy track and it'll be on the CD, and if it don't sound right, I'm not gonna get your vision because it don't sound right. So it's just a lot of different things you gotta worry about, but just, like I said, quality over quantity all day.
Quickly, this might be a long answer to this question, but briefly, you can explain the moment that you went from having regular drums to the drums that each of you guys have, the signature. Like, what happened? Because I know you started with playing somebody took the drums okay, then something must have happened, then boom, drums was crazy. Like, what happened in between that point?
I'm gonna tell you something crazy. Me, myself, I actually have custom grease drums that actually between all my tracks, if you can follow in my record, you can tell that's one thing we hear that shit come on, like, damn, oh shit, I know the fuck is popping over there. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like, I mean, believe it or not, my drums and my samples, they come from my SP 1200 days, up to the 950 days, up to the Fruity Loop days, up to the 3000 days. So they came with me and stayed with me throughout the whole ordeal, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like how you said, it's like, let's say a couple kits that I got that, let's say like I use this kit because this kit sound good when I do piano chords. You feel me? I use this kit because this kit do good when I chop shit up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like different things that like it sounds and your thing is your signature, man. You know what I'm saying? So it don't make a difference. Like whatever, how that thing go, it's what it is. So like, I mean, you also want to have a extensive library on that. You know what I'm saying? You need to get your own. Like everybody know, like Pharrell got them crispy snares and shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know Grease got them dirty kicks. You know what I'm saying? Switch got the tans. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows Scott Storch doing the clap thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody like they got their little thing that they do that make it pop off.
To build on what he's saying is the exact thing. You got to create your own sound. So if you get a drum kit, manipulate it the way you like it to sound, and that'll be your drums. And like I got my own drum kits. I'm sure, like he said, you guys everybody got their own sound. So it really don't matter what drums you use. Just make them sound the way you like them, and then that'll become your signature sound.
Yeah, and also to add to that, there's nothing wrong with borrowing sounds from other producers like your boys, or even you hear Timberland joints that you like borrow it, fuck with it, tweak it. I know, like I started out with sounds from the internet, you know what I mean, like the Dr. Dre drums or whatever the hip hop kit you get, which was really corny, but I know. But obviously, I rolled with Ye for a second. His first big record he had out was the Jay-Z record, I forget the name of it. What was that? Can this be live? Yeah. But he used the drums from Explosive. And that shit just knocked and knocked. And it felt a little bit familiar to you too. So that's another way to rock and experiment. But even to this day, I'll still sample some drums from a Timberland record or something, and fuck around with it and layer it on top of some other shit or whatever. So yeah, man, it's really a wide open palette, but don't be scared to use sounds that you hear to mix in with your own.
I think I'm gonna probably got all y'all for some sounds. I think I was probably got all y'all. And then I just got tired because I said, man, they got a lot of knocking sounds, but they do it the way they do it. Right? So I started pulling out my 8-track stuff and CD players, and I start sampling my own drum. And I just, I got it. But when you hear it, you don't know because I take it and create my own feel to it. To be honest with you, the little zips they give you with the little generic sounds are nice, and it takes a lot of mixing and stacking to make them. Yeah, and on top of that, like no disrespect to Dre, he's one of my all-time best, but I can't take his sounds fully and actually use them because to me it just gives him more credit.
You don't feel right.
It gives him more credit. Wow, that sounds like Dre. That sounds like Swizzy. I'm Jimmy, you know what I mean? So I gotta take what he's doing, flip it how I hear it in my head, and make it Jimmy. So, don't get stuck on, buy that whole, the 12-pack of Dr. Dre catalogs, or come on over here. Yeah, kicks and drums, bass and guitar. You can't depend on it, man. Go on your little tape deck, pop it in, pop that shit in and sample. Take the time. Oh my God, I might do this again. Let me listen further down. And I do this till this day. And people look at me like I'm crazy. But I love it. I love it because it just shows I'm still trying to evolve. I'm still trying to take it from here to here. I'm still trying to grow. And I'm not a lazy person. So Dre can give me sounds. I'm going to take them and, take what I want. But I'm going to do it my way anyhow. It's my way or the highway. So, make it yours. Whatever you get, don't be afraid to sample. Real talk.
Yeah, I had a question just in regards to live instrumentation. I mean, I come from an era like, listening to Preem, Pete Rock, you know what I mean? I grew up in that 90s era, Black Moon, all that, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like, nowadays everything is evolving to live instrumentation mixed with the sampling. For somebody, I'm 28 years old, I never, learned an instrument, but at the same time, I sample heavy. Right. Is there room for that type of producer in, I guess, in this day and age right now? You know what I'm saying? Is it still room for that?
There's room for any producer as long as it's hot. Right. I mean, nobody's here saying sample is out, because sample will never be out. I still sample, and I'm not going to sit here and say every beat I got live instrumentation, because it don't. But live instrumentation does enhance a beat now. And that's like, you can use a sample and you can play a string under a sample, it'll be a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? So, it ain't bad that you don't know it, but like my man Jimmy said earlier, it's good that you learn something, you know what I'm saying? And know live instrumentation, because it's good to add it in. But you still good, don't mean you're irrelevant, because the game, no matter what, the base of the hip-hop game is samples, kick snares, hi-hats, and like Grease, I'm a street producer mainly, so that gritty sound of New York will always be there. We just gotta uplift it back. So what you doing, stick with what you're doing. And I just want to add on to what they were saying too, like with the whole buying drum kits and all that. You can do all that, but just because Dr. Dre's using claps don't mean you gotta use claps. You know what I'm saying? You gotta use what you want. And like my man said about the headphones, just because Dr. Dre made headphones don't mean you can make beats. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if his headphones is named Beats by Dr. Dre. That don't mean your beats are gonna sound good. You know what I'm saying? And you just do you know what I'm saying? I just had to throw that in there because you made me laugh at that headphone shit. I see YouTube videos with dudes like excited like babies with new toys, like, I got Dr. Dre Beats. It's like, come on, dude, it's a fucking headphone, man. You know, you ain't gonna be producing Snoop with them headphones. This shit gotta be hot. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Dre don't give you a subliminal message through the music with the headphones. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be hot.
Do y'all bring in live musicians?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like I said myself, I play keyboards myself. Like I mean, from everything, single lines, chords, whatever, orchestras, I do all that shit. But at the same time, like I sample also, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about it, when you sample, you are sampling live instrumentation. So it's the same thing if you were able to apply it yourself or even hire instrument players. Because like right now, I mean, there's a billion instrument players that don't got no fucking jobs because they got so many programs. So it's like, guys, it's like, what you need? I'm saying on guitar and shit, what you want to do? So motherfuckers is always down to sign up and give you a lick, give you a keyboard line, give you a bass line, give you some horns, give you something natural and all that. Because like, I mean, that's what it's coming down to, man. Like, you know, and like even doing productions, like it's always good to keep everything moving. Everything, you know what I'm saying? Sample, a lot of people know me, I'm 75% live, non-sample. But it don't make a difference. That shit is hot, loop it, chop it, flip it, send it. You know what I'm saying? If it's tight, it don't make a difference. They're gonna buy it or not. You know what I'm saying? So heat is heat, crack is crack.
To build on that, I'm a drummer and percussionist, that's my forte, but bottom line, truth be told, sometimes a sample off of the record can never even become close to with cats that play, and they can be the best players. And they can play it exactly as it is, but there's something about that original sample with the keys and the bass and the way the group played together that when you listen to them both, the sample is the magic. And that's where the business comes in again. So instead of stealing, you just get up off and report the sample and pay whatever it is, and you got your hot joint that you program whatever your beats are to it, whatever sound you use, but the essence of that sample is carrying the song. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and to add on to it, I did a record for Tony Yayo, Homicide. And like if you heard that record, I can tell you that it's a Latin sample, but they brought in live string players, and if you got good instrumentation on top of a sample, you really can't tell the difference. And they replayed the whole sample, played the pianos, and it sounds really, really like, it sounds even more tremendous and more larger, because there's nothing, like my man just said, there's nothing that beats live instrumentation. As long as you got somebody that can manipulate it perfectly, or at least close as possible, it'll sound real dope.